Hello everyone and welcome to another video. So the two-part series finale for season 1, aka series 14, has now finished. And here's my review of it. But what did I think of it? Well, it was a mess in my honest opinion. I thought the first part, that being The Legend of Ruby Sunday, was pretty good on the whole. It did a great job of building up tension and suspense, especially in the final few minutes. The first couple of minutes did seem a bit strange though. The Doctor and Ruby just turned up at Unit HQ and started telling Kate and the team about Susan Twist's many appearances. Which sounds fine when I put it like that, but it felt like there was a scene before that which for some reason was cut out. A scene that might have helped to explain why they'd decided to go to Unit about it now instead of going a bit sooner or something. And I thought that the way the Doctor's granddaughter Susan was brought up just seemed really odd. It didn't make sense for Ruby to make the connection that Susan Triad could be the Doctor's granddaughter, just because they happen to share the same first name. I feel like those bits could have both done with a few slight revisions, as they just seem to come out of nowhere, really. But the rest of The Legend of Ruby Sunday was really good, in my opinion. As I said earlier, it was really building up to this great and climactic ending, and I loved seeing Sutek come back after almost 50 years away from the TV show, not including any expanded universe stories, obviously. Gabriel Wolf did a great job of reprising the voice of Sutek. I loved how, with the passage of time, his voice for the character has gotten a bit deeper and lower, making it sound even more menacing, even though the original voice was really good too. I liked the short interactions we had between the 15th Doctor and Kate Stewart, where they discussed whether Susan Triad could actually be the Doctor's granddaughter. You really got this sense of them being old friends, and of that mutual trust and respect they have for each other. And in some ways, it actually gave Kate more development as a character than she's ever really had before. She's all too often just been in the Brigadier's shadow. So yeah, I was really blown away by how great The Legend of Ruby Sunday was, and I was eagerly anticipating what would happen next in Empire of Death. So much, in fact, that I decided to watch it on Saturday morning on iPlayer, rather than waiting until it was broadcast on BBC One in the evening, as I would normally do. But Empire of Death was a massive disappointment, to be honest. It just didn't live up to the hype that The Legend of Ruby Sunday had started. I mean, don't get me wrong, not every single aspect of it was terrible. I thought that the cast were all really good, especially Ncuti Gatwa, Millie Gibson and Bonnie Lamford, even if she spent a good 10 minutes not really doing anything apart from looking like she was about to fall asleep in the memory TARDIS. Speaking of the memory TARDIS, I really liked how it was included in this episode. I thought it made for a nice tie-in to Tales of the TARDIS, although it turns out that it was actually originally created for just Empire of Death, before Russell came up with the idea of Tales so that they could use the set again. And I actually quite liked how Ruby's birth mum was revealed to just be an ordinary woman, and that there was only ever this great big mystery around her because of how much mystique other people had built up around it. But why did she have to dress up so dramatically and point to that signpost like that? I know Russell has explained that she wasn't actually wearing that hood, it was just the result of time itself trying to hide her from Sutek. But it's still a bit strange, really. I also really don't like how easily Sutek was defeated. He's supposed to be this all-powerful god type of character, and yet he can't stop the Doctor and Ruby from putting an ordinary leash on him and dragging him through the time vortex. I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Sutek should have easily been able to shoot energy beams out of his eyes or something. So why did he not do that? As far as we know, it isn't a special type of leash that's able to negate his powers or anything. It's literally just a normal bit of rope. I get where Russell is coming from with having Sutek live inside the TARDIS for years, ever since the end of Pyramids of Mars. But it doesn't really work that well with all the stuff that's happened to the TARDIS since. Like, what happened to Sutek when the TARDIS was supposedly destroyed in Frontios? Did he just sit on top of the hat stand or something? What did he do when the TARDIS's energy was forced into the body of Idris in the Doctor's wife? What happened to him during the times when the TARDIS broke down or was destroyed? And what did he do during the Time War? Or during the alternate timelines seen in Turn Left or 73 Yards? And if we're to believe that Sutek created the many different characters Susan Twist has played, then did she pop up off screen somewhere during most of the Doctor's adventures between Pyramids of Mars and Wild Blue Yonder? I know there was something said about how the more Sutek took control of the TARDIS, the more fleshed out the Susan Twist characters became. But why did he pick her face in particular? Also, whilst I like seeing Yasmin Finney back as Donna's daughter Rose, I didn't really get why she was there. She wasn't really given all that much to do, and that was especially notable during the scene where Kate and the rest of the unit's team are all shooting at Sutek, and Rose is just playing a game on a tablet or something. And why is Kate Stewart employing children, such as Lenny Rush's Maurice Gibbons? He even says how he's only 13, and it seems a bit irresponsible on Kate's part to put him in harm's way. But at least he can defend himself with the guns on his Segway, I suppose. Although, again, why did Kate give a 13-year-old kid some guns? And Rose wouldn't be much older than Maurice, would she? I felt like guest character Sian Clifford was also wasted as the kind woman. She plays a character who is used so little that she's not even given a proper name, although her interactions with the Doctor did help to show how much of a bad state the universe was in after Sutek had destroyed most of it. And as much as I know some people found Ruby's goodbye scene to be really moving and emotional, I honestly just didn't think it worked for me personally. It feels like we've barely had any time to get to know this Doctor and companion pairing, and they're already saying goodbye? I mean, granted, the reasoning why makes sense. Ruby's at a very different point in her life now, and she needs to go and find out more about her birth parents. It wouldn't make much sense for her to decide to leave all of that behind so that she can travel some more with the Doctor. But I just don't think that scene and its emotional feel was all that earned. The series has gone by so quickly, and a lot of that is because of just how short it's been. I know it's probably a budget fin, but I really do think that it would have resonated a lot more with me if we'd spent more time with 15 and Ruby. I would have loved it if this season could have at least had 10 50-minute episodes, like series 11 and 12 had. Or better yet, those 10 episodes could even each be an hour long. Just something like that might have really helped me to emotionally invest more in that scene. I suppose part of the reason why it didn't work for me was because we already know Millie Gibson will be back for at least a few episodes next year, so it's not really a proper big goodbye just yet. Ruby Sunday is just currently parked as a character. I don't want it to seem like I'm saying Unshuti and Millie didn't do a great job in that scene though. They both really acted their socks off and gave it their all. It's just a shame how quickly this past season has gone really. But yeah, I just don't think Empire of Death stood the landing really. I think Russell wrote himself into a corner and couldn't quite give a satisfying enough conclusion to everything. It's a shame as, like I've already said, the Legends of Ruby Sunday did a really great job of hyping everything up, but maybe there was a bit too much hype, and so Empire of Death could just never live up to it. Perhaps my issues with Ruby's goodbye scene will be resolved at the end of next year's season, when we might get a more definitive ending to her story. But the rest of the finale was just too rushed and not given enough time to breathe and properly think everything out. So I'm going to give this two-part finale a rating of 7 out of 10. The first half was really good, beyond a few odd moments early on, but the second half just completely fell apart, and it just wasn't a satisfying enough ending to the finale or the season as a whole. If I had to rank these two episodes separately, then I would give The Legend of Ruby Sunday a 9 out of 10, and Empire of Death a 6.5 out of 10. So yeah, Legends really does help give the overall finale a better score than it would have otherwise. I feel a bit deflated after watching Empire of Death really. I enjoyed most of this season, but it got off to a bad start with Space Babies, and then ended really badly with Empire of Death. At least I enjoyed everything in between though, even if not all of the other episodes were 100% perfect. I really hope that things will get better with Season 2, aka Series 15, next year, and maybe it will help solve some of the issues I've had with this season. But I really am surprised at how this series turned out. I was expecting Russell to kind of go for a completely fresh slate again, exactly like he did with Christopher Eccleston's series in 2005. But instead, we've had a sort of weird halfway point. Sometimes it's felt new and exciting, but other times it's just felt like pretty standard Doctor Who stuff, and I don't mean that in a good way. This latter thing is especially prevalent with Space Babies and Empire of Death. Space Babies is a really weak series opener, especially for one that is supposed to help introduce a whole new, more international audience to the show. I know the Church on Ruby Road kind of helped with that. But even then, it shouldn't be down to just the Christmas special from 5 months beforehand to do that. The series opener needs to do it as well. Actually, the first 3 episodes as a whole needs to help with it, in my opinion. Empire of Death, meanwhile, feels like it has all the worst elements of past Russell T Davies written series finales. Sutek's defeat seems really rushed and sudden and just doesn't make much sense. And we have another reset button at the end of the episode, with everyone getting revived once Sutek is supposedly killed off. And that's pretty much exactly what Russell did with the Series 3 finale, the sound of drums / Last of the Time Lords. And it doesn't help attract a new audience when you've got your big villain of the finale being a returning one that first appeared nearly 50 years ago. And I'm saying this as someone who loved the fact that Sutek came back. The show really needs to get away from its past and try a clean slate again. I don't mean that as in they should completely reboot it, but something like what Russell did in 2005 might really help to get us away from these stale callbacks to the past. As much as I love Russell and his writing and sheer enthusiasm and love for the show, we really do need fresh blood. I hope that with us getting more new writers next season, this can at least kind of happen. Although I feel like it would be too late now for them to do a soft reboot, to be honest. But yeah, even just having a wider range of writers, with most of them being brand new to the show, could really help add a new kind of energy to the show. We saw this happen with Rogue, which was written by Kate Herron and Bryony Redman, and I hope we see more of it throughout the rest of this era. Perhaps with Russell potentially writing fewer episodes himself, he will be able to take his time more with writing his own episodes, especially the finale. But we'll have to wait and see about all of this, obviously. I don't know, maybe I'm taking all of this far too seriously, and I should just accept the fact that Doctor Who can just do silly things like have a villain be defeated by a leash. It's not like it's always been super serious and made lots of sense before now, is it? I don't want you all to think that I'm not still excited to see what happens next, because I definitely am looking forward to this year's Christmas special and then next year's series. I just hope that things will get better and that my issues with this season will be just a blip in an otherwise really good era for the show. But what did you think? Did you like this 2-part finale or not? And did you agree with my thoughts and rankings? Please let me know in the comments section below. Anyway, so thanks for watching, hope you liked it. Please don't forget to press that subscribe button below, as well as press the bell icon at the side of it, so that you'll stay notified of when all my new videos come out. This channel currently has 2,177 subscribers as of the time of writing and recording this video, but if we can get to 2,500 by the end of this year, then I will do a Q&A where you can ask me whatever questions you want. Just keep them polite, please. Also, please rate and comment below your thoughts on all of this, and please feel free to donate to my Ko-fi page, link in the description, or send me a YouTube super thanks below if you want to, of course. And I shall see you all in another video. So, until next time, bye bye!